On today's episode of Humor Hype, we're talking about weapons. Video game weapons, you know, when you really stop to think about it, it seems like 95% of video games, you have a weapon and you're killing somebody. I don't know what that says about the medium, but we're here today to talk about some of those weapons that have had a profound impact on my life and stuck with me through the times. First up, the baseball bat from the Grand Theft Auto franchise. Grand Theft Auto 3, I'll just never forget this. Call me sadistic, am I a psycho? Who knows? But there was just something empowering about getting this baseball bat, running up to people on the street, and just murdering them in broad daylight and seeing cash just spray out of their bodies, just money. You know, and it gives you that animation where you're locked in, you're kind of locked on to their dead corpse, and you just keep bashing them. And like people walking by will comment, they'll say that guy's crazy, and Rockstar knows this. They know that this baseball bat is an infamous weapon. It's really personal. You know, there's something very impersonal about guns. You're just like point, shoot, dead. Grand Theft Auto 5, the same destructive feel. You can only use the baseball bat when you're Trevor, in my eyes, you know, because he's a psycho. You channel your inner psychopath. Trevor with a baseball bat, legendary. Next up, switching gears from the chaos of Grand Theft Auto to a little more jolly chaos of Ratchet and Clank. Now, we could have an entire episode, we could talk about for days about the weapons in these games. But there is one that does stand above all else for me, and that is the bouncer. Now, on paper, it's a standard grenade launcher, but you run this thing in to masses of enemies, and it shoots out a giant ball, which explodes for massive damage, and then that turns into smaller balls, which hit and destroy anyone in their path. Then those go into smaller balls. It's just, it keeps going. If you fire like 5 of these massive balls into a crowd, and then they just start popping off one after another, you can upgrade it. It makes it like a mini nuke. Things are exploding. This weapon is just as destructive as it is jolly. You know, just weapons. They make a game. You know, you find something you love and you just latch onto that. There's so many we can talk about. But next up, one that really caught me off guard. I still think about it to this day, and it really made going through this game very memorable, very, very powerful feeling. And that is the halberd in Dark Souls. Now, usually I favor giant axes or giant swords in any game I play. That's just my play style. I like being a big hulking brute, going in as doing the most damage as slow as humanly possible. But I found this halberd in Dark Souls, and I just fell in love. It became part of me. It's like that scene in Full Metal Jacket. This is my rifle. This is my halberd. Something very, very tactical about it. It wasn't just running in with a short sword or a giant sword. It became all about distance and spacing. Every single enemy encounter was a tactical mini war. And it was just mesmerizing. When multiple enemies would come in from multiple sides, you really had to watch your stamina because you could only get a few hits in and then have to recharge. So it was just this ballet of death with this halberd and these enemies. And it will forever live on in my memory. I don't think I will ever forget that game because of that weapon. Lastly, there's only one thing I love as much as a giant two-handed axe. And that is a pump-action shotgun. Now, the definitive shotgun in gaming history, a lot of people are gonna say the Doom 2 double barrel. But I say no. I say Doom single barrel shotgun will trump that thing every time. It's just more intimate, it's more personal. When you have floods of imps on screen, there's like 7 or 8, you're just boom, that pump, that click. That sound alone, it's just something so intense about it. The double barrel, you know, it's cool, like he jams the shells in, but it's just something more surgical about that single barrel shotgun, picking off imps, picking off cyber demons, picking everyone off. No disrespect to the double barrel shotgun, I would still sleep with that thing by my side, but the single barrel, man, you know, the double barrel isn't even in Doom 1, so going through Doom 1, you have that thing the whole way through. I mean, that is a weapon where when I pick it up, that is my main. I don't need any other weapon. I don't need any other pickups. Just more shells. Game over. Weapons, there's a million. That's the problem with the show. I just want to talk for days until the sun comes up about these topics. But again, Bossman, clicking that time. Let's go, let's hurry it up. But we're gonna throw an honorable mention your way. Here we go. Counter-Strike AWP. The rise of the online shooter, the Wild West. I can remember, again, when the computer was in my parents' room, I can remember going on this game and it was online, and that concept alone scared the crap out of my mom. She was confused. She didn't know what was happening. She would say, well, can they see you? Do they know where we live? Do they know your address? Can they steal your information? Like, this worries me. I don't like this. Who are these people? Don't talk to anyone. It was a very crazy time, you know, the rise of the internet, which we take for granted now sometimes. But Counter-Strike, I mean, this was a game that would bring people together from around the country, around the world. That was a crazy experience all on its own. But when my brother was off to college, it was how we would hang out. We would play Counter-Strike. And I can remember, one of my friends did as well, my buddy Ryan Teen. Now, he was a AWP and AK-47 specialist, but preferably the AWP. Now, this gun is very controversial because it's usually a one-hit kill. Everyone would call it the noob cannon. Servers would outright ban it. But there was something about my brother and I running across that Aztec bridge side by side with M4A1s, crouching, full auto spray, 60 shots, wall of death, with my buddy behind me with the AWP. Just anyone coming out, boom, dead. No one could ever top that sniper rifle, the definitive sniper rifle in games. People say it's unbalanced. I say that thing is balanced to perfection. It's all about mastering that quick switch. Shot, pistol back and forth, quick switch. If you run up close, unless you're a professional, you're going down. Weapons, you know, very, very important part of video games, especially because today they are so violent and there's so much death and destruction. But when you have one you like, it has a lasting effect. Last episode we were talking about the future of video games, had some great comments. Let's read some of those. BM5 says, I feel like everyone has given up on No Man's Sky for this year, but I still believe. How dare you forget about possibly the most revolutionary game of all time, Huber? You know, it looks incredible, but it's been a while. There's been a moratorium on information for this game. I don't want to be burned. I think it's a defense mechanism, kind of avoiding the hype, because this game, it looks too good to be true. Next up, Roy. Huber, it must have slipped your mind, but you left out the conclusion of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Frickin' Void 2015 hype. How the hell did I forget Legacy of the Void? It is my favorite thing of all time. Uneasy Alliance. We got Zeratul, Kerrigan, Raynor. Who the hell knows what's gonna happen? It is going to send shockwaves through that universe. It is going to be a conclusion and culmination. Last up, Wolf Fox. Come on, Huber. Yakuza 5, the culmination of the journey about the dragon of Dojima, and by 2038, Shenmue 3 better have happened. Yes, Yakuza 5 as well. Didn't bring that one up. We're so lucky we're getting that PSN release later this year. That is a gift. We don't have Yakuza 0 yet, but at least 5 will be the conclusion because we've had 1 through 4. Thank God we're getting that one. Coming up this week on GameTrailers, the Not a Hero review should be up sometime. If it's not already up, it should be very soon. Cool little game from the developers of Ollie Ollie. Also, Wednesday at 6 p.m., GT Live, hosted by Kyle Bossman. Brandon Jones is going to be out, and Bossman will be filling in. We'll see how he does. I am at Michael P. Hewer. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about weapons in video games, ones that are near and dear to you, ones that you just dream about, memorable ones that just have made the game what it is. There are so many, too many to talk about. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next week. It's time for Heber's Cube!